Purple eye in the canyon. That's where
Can't believe we got it done, dude. We actually did
Finally.
it. We've been trying to do this for a while.
I know.
I've been knowing you since I started in music.
Really?
Pretty much. Yeah. Like the first time I met you was in New Mexico at that LJT festival thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I had just put out my first music then.
That record's cool, man.
And you were so friendly. It was rare. It was quite refreshing.
That's funny. Yeah, I remember you, we talked out at your van.
Well, okay. Yeah, it was the band van. I didn't like invite you out to my random van. It was an appropriate van.
You won't touch my puppy.
Did I have my dog with me?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I would.
No, and I'd met Bubba before that. And then so I got to see Bubba play, and he was kind of doing multi-instrumentalist stuff with you.
Is that when you just snaked him away from me right there?
Yeah. Right then I
started
decided
angling.
in my heart that someday I'll steal this guy from the journey.
Yeah.
No, but Bubba was busy doing like his own thing also. So it was kind of like.
Has he slowed down on some of that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm keeping him pretty busy.
Yeah, y'all are playing a ton, huh?
A lot.
Are you trying to write a bunch, or are you just focused on
I'm
playing?
writing more now than I have ever.
Ever?
Yes. I got a publishing deal last year. And so that, I mean, you kind of have to.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of part of which I like that part of it. It's sort of like, because if it was up to me, I could just play shows forever because I love entertaining it more than probably anything else. But, you know, I've come to realize that the songs are the thing that's going to outlast me being on stage. So better write the best ones possible.
Was that a realization? When did you come to that realization?
Well, I mean, the older you get, when I was younger, I used to write as a means to just, I need songs to play. Right. And I don't want to do like cover band stuff necessarily. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And that's like lucrative business these days.
Huge.
We were in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, yesterday, 2 days ago. And we went to Muscle Shoals Sound, which is like dope old studio, in Muscle Shoals. They made so many awesome records. Seeger recorded almost every record there. Bob Seeger. And there was a Bob Seeger tribute band that was cutting there that day from Canada. They were on tour.
They're making like real records.
And they were making a record.
At Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals.
How interesting.
I thought it was dope. I was like, I want
to hang
out.
What the lead singer, did he look like him too?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
If he could actually sing like him, I find it
I
hard
think
to
he probably does.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because that's actually one of my top 3 favorite voices of all time.
What's your favorite Seeger song?
Okay, it's changed over the years, but the first one that really got me was Main Street.
Yeah, dude.
With that.
That's at Muscle Shoals.
Just the rest
like
of the
fuzz.
The rest of the podcast is just you and I looking at each other, doing a falsetto, going little guitar solos.
Yeah, I love Bob.
That's
Seeger.
my favorite one though. Kind of slow.
And the melody. See that guys like that are what make me want to write great songs. Because like Bob Seeger, you listen to that song. The melody is that I remember standing on the corner at midnight trying to get my courage up.
Yeah, dude.
It's like,
I used to stand outside at closing time.
Yeah.
I find him to be incredibly underrated. He had a massive career because he wrote great songs, but he wrote most all those songs or co-wrote them.
Yeah.
And
Not Old Time Rock and Roll, which was like maybe the biggest hit. That was pitched by the guys from the Swampers. Pitched him that song.
No kidding.
The house band at Muscle Shoals, yeah.
Well, but then they kind of co-wrote together, I guess? Or what do you mean pitched it?
They had recorded Old Time Rock and Roll for another artist. And we're like, Seeger's got to hear this song.
Okay.
And so they pitched the song to him and history was made. But they made a deal with him. They I think the Swampers, because they opened the Muscle Shoals Sound, the band from Fame Studios, which was like Mustang Sally, Land of a Thousand Dances, like all the really cool Wilson Pickett stuff and all the soul records that came out of Muscle Shoals. They left Fame and started their own studio. And that's when they, I mean, Muscle Shoals exploded in the 70s. Everybody made records. They had an invoice ticket on the wall that was from the Rolling Stones when they recorded Brown Sugar there. Pretty cool.
See, but why would
Mike's nodding over there because he's like, yeah, he took a picture of it.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. But it's curious to me why. So Seeger owns all of his masters supposedly.
Yeah.
So he owns the music, which is not true for somebody like the Stones or like a Johnny Cash or something like that. So I find it interesting that people don't really talk about him quite as much from like a songwriting perspective.
I don't know why. I think maybe
I think it's because they don't have big industry people behind him. He owns all of it.
Yeah.
So you don't get this like constant push from the industry. Like,
he's in my top 5 favorite of all time.
Is he really?
Easily.
Oh yeah, me too. And but I don't ever hear anybody talk about it.
You know why too? Because like in his career went through several different phases, but like before Night Moves, Bob Seger could sell 15,000 tickets in Detroit. You know? And then
That's before his big
Night
hit.
Moves.
Yeah.
Because he had the Seger, I think it was called the Seger Sound System. Seger. He had a band where he did that song Ramblin' Man was like his first regional hit.
I just went and listened to his first record the other day.
From Seeger System or whatever.
Well, I don't know if it's called. I've never heard of the Seeger System thing.
See, that's when he was like playing organ in his own band.
Really? I mean,
rambling man, I got the ramble.
So his first album though, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, in like 1969.
Mm-hmm. So, and that was like a regional hit.
Yeah.
And so he'd kind of built this like regional.
Is it that
career.
record right there?
Yeah, that's like Ramblin' Gamblin' Man.
Yeah, and there's some songs in there that
the Bob Seger System.
Okay,
yeah,
that's so weird that I just went through and listened to that whole thing the other day.
Well, before Night Moves, I mean, he could sell 15,000 tickets. He could literally sell an arena out in his hometown, and then he would drive 100 miles and couldn't sell 15 tickets.
It sounds like a lot of the cats regionally around here.
Yeah. And it's just now starting to happen.
Yeah.
Where we're going to another state and selling 100 plus seats. You know, it's like, oh man, it's happening. Or we're getting booked at like, you know, we're playing rodeos and 1,000 people show up after the rodeo and they know our songs, which is wild.
Yeah. And you've done it long enough too that I see, it's interesting. Like nowadays you can get such quick attention so quickly
from TikTok
and so young, right? Without
let's talk about this.
Well, no, but without putting in a ton of work, and some people get jealous of that, right? Like, that must be nice to blow up so quick. I've never been jealous of that or envious of that. Because you have no perspective on the work it takes to get there. You're gonna have to
put the time in at some point.
And it's
to have something that lasts, something, you know, over the course of time. You're gonna have to put the work in.
And it's easier to put that work in on the front end because if you've already had massive success and you feel the ride up is way easier than the ride down. And if you have that ride down and you're realizing how much work you need to put in,
well. The thing I think will be the telltale for a lot of the guys that have popped off on TikTok and are like smoking right now is hopefully they have a maturity where they understand, like, I mean, Garth Brooks doesn't get played on the radio anymore. George Strait doesn't have number ones anymore. We're talking about the 2 biggest of all time. There's going to come a time when you're on the other side of it and maybe you're selling a theater and not an amphitheater, you know? It could be. Maybe they just stay on top. And that may happen, and that's amazing. And but have you experienced what it feels like to play for nobody? Literally drive hundreds of miles to load in all your gear. I mean, we played in Little Rock, Arkansas yesterday. Sunday? No. What day is it today? Today is Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
Are we supposed to say that? Probably not supposed to say that.
Probably ask the financial. She would know what day it is.
Yeah.
Y'all are the only ones in here with a real job.
We were playing in Little Rock, Arkansas on Sunday, and I recounted the first time I played in Arkansas, which was, I think, was in maybe Hot Springs, and it was for the bartender.
Just when did you say it was?
That's it. That was 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
You know, but it was like for the bartender. That's it. And the door guy walks up and goes, sorry, bro. And this is what he said. He was like, Joe Diffie's playing at a tractor pull in town and everybody's down there. Sorry, man. We normally have some folks in here.
But you're really good.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You're really good.
Man, we played 4 hours.
Well, I was thinking maybe you
4
guys
hours.
could have us back or something. Ooh, no, I don't.
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't know about that.
But that was the old days, dude. We'd play 4-hour nights. There were times too, like when we would load into clubs and we'd stay there and play 3-4 days in a row. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'd do that pretty regularly.
It's more like comedians at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, you do
residency.
a week of, like we'd stay at one place and play all week and try to build something.
Mostly cover gigs.
No, we were playing original songs too.
Okay.
But I did learn a lot of cover songs. I mean, played a lot of weddings, played a lot of birthday parties. Kids today will ask me that. They'll say like, what do you think I ought to do? Like, well, you need to write songs. You need to like be your own artist, and you need to, it's going to take you a while to know who you are as an artist. I'm just now figuring it out.
You think so?
Yeah. I feel more confident now in who I am or what I want to, do.
Do you think you could have gotten there without doing a lot of the cover stuff?
No, because, and that's part of it is like, I tell kids, I'm like, just go play weddings, get a band put together, learn a whole songbook full of songs, learn the best songs of all time, learn all those songs, and then go entertain people who don't want you to be the person entertaining them. Seriously,
excruciating.
Yeah, it's brutal, but you learn real hard. You learn real quick how to like engage a crowd that doesn't care. They didn't buy tickets to see you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What a funny dynamic that you learn how to deal with. I've always said it was like dating. You got to learn how to date a crowd. Like before you ever get married, you got to date somebody.
Yeah.
And there's that awkwardness at first where like, especially this is my theory, with women, there's a lot of like, if they know you're like super into them, they're a little like, okay.
Yeah.
There's it's like the whole, and you can't call them within the first 3 days, because then you seem a little desperate, So like being in front of an audience, feels like there's that dynamic. If they know that you want them to like you too much, then they're like, oh, no, I'm not really into it. But if they trust that if you were just alone on that stage without them, you'd still be doing your thing and having a good time. There's something kind of like,
yeah.
But you don't want to come off like a jerk and pretentious, right?
Yeah.
You still, it's tough. There's a little distance there that I think you only can learn from.
You have to just learn by doing.
But if the first time you got on stage, there was just like thousands of people that already knew your songs and they just love you.
That's a totally different world. I mean, they're going to be having podcasts someday. Those cats are going to be having podcasts someday of telling you how they navigated that world, because that's a totally different thing. I mean,
way different.
And
it's probably even weird. Is it weird too, because you played so long for kind of more of the love of it, and you weren't getting a tremendous amount of attention. Mm-hmm. Is like, how weird is it to then now you do get a lot of, is there a part of you that it's kind of hard to believe in a way, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is happening now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm just extremely grateful for it. That'd be the hardest part to me if it happened overnight, would be like, how do you have a sense of gratitude if your only experience is nothing but love and adoration from the jump, right? Like from the very get-go, you are extremely popular, and how do you be like, I think the awe of it, they're always going to be struck by the awe of it, because like, what did I do to get this? What did I do to? I just wrote a few songs, put them on TikTok. I met a kid a few months ago, and he got signed after his first video he ever put on TikTok. The first video he ever posted,
it just exploded.
Got him a record deal, and it wasn't just a T90 record deal. We're talking about like a record deal.
Yeah, big dogs.
Yeah. And he's got, he puts a single out now. It's 1 million streams in a week.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And I'm talking to this kid. He's 18 years old. I'm talking to him like, so man, what do you like? He was playing before us. And I'm like, so you've been working hard? Like you doing the TikTok thing? You getting after it? And he was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was real like humble about it. And then, he like drops that he's playing Red Rocks. And I was like, wait a minute. And then he's like, yeah, I got a record deal. Yeah, I got management. Yeah. And I was just like, holy cow, dude. Teach me.
No kidding.
Seriously.
Yeah, but even from a spiritual perspective, it's interesting that people like to think of quick and easy success, even if it's just like in business. They like to think of that as a huge blessing. Oh, what a blessing. It's like, yeah, we've just been so blessed that it just happened so quick. And like, I just got so lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it's like, if we're thinking that God is like blessing us in that way, if you think about that from like being a parent, I don't have kids, but I can imagine if I had kids, I would not want to just give them everything easy and quick. I would want them to learn how to earn something because it builds character and integrity and perseverance and all those attributes.
Yeah.
So it's always a little weird for me to think that as human parents, we would do that for our own kids. But then if we're like a child of God, God would not do that in the same way. Like he wouldn't want you to earn it. He wouldn't want you to like build character and perseverance.
Well, what's to say that the character building is not going to be on the other side of it?
Scary. Yeah, be careful what you freaking pray for sure.
Yeah, what you might be building character. Okay.
Yeah, you think the blessing was on the front end.
I mean, I've had those experiences with my son where it's like, that's really what you want to do? Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. And then lesson learned on the other side of whatever that was. Oh, well, I kind of told you that was going to happen, didn't I? Yes, sir, you did.
Yeah, as I've gotten old, my prayers have changed. I didn't get saved until I was like 26, so it was still later in life. But even since then, my prayers have changed pretty significantly. And because I just don't even trust that I know what I need, So it's like for me to just like pray for stuff that I think I want and need is bizarre. Now it's just like, man, I don't want the thing that I don't need. So just kind of like let it happen the way it's supposed to happen, because I don't even really trust my own intuition. What's
funny is the things I'm experiencing now, like getting to write songs with Steve Warner and all these things I'm experiencing now were things that I had laid down a long time ago. I had just realized like that is not going to be for me. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'd just sort of like given up the idea that like, okay, I'm not going to be in Rolling Stone. That's not going to happen. So Lord, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? And
that was probably a continuous prayer, but like how long ago do you think, generally speaking, that happened where you kind
of, it's probably 5-6 years ago. I thought like, okay, if I'm going to have a career in music, I'm going to have to do it a certain way. I'm going to have to build a certain way because the things that I prefer, this music I love, is not popular. It's not what's on the radio. It's not, and I don't even know how to go about it, obtaining something like that. But I just sort of like surrendered my whole life and career to God. Like, whatever you want me to do. If you want me to be on staff at a church and be a worship pastor, I can do that. Whatever you want me to do. You take me there. You tell me what you want me to do. I'll do it.
But see, it's genuine.
It was not like
that. It's not like you
I
can
was
hack
at peace with it.
Yeah, it's
like
not like
totally
somebody
at
else
peace.
could do the same thing and then really get what they really want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I mean, I genuinely like, I'm fine to do whatever you want me to do. When I got saved, I mean, it was the similar situation. Like when I was I was probably 30.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How did I guess, I didn't know.
Maybe 29.
No kidding. It was later.
Yeah. I mean, look, we grew up in Texas, right?
Oh, bro. Yeah.
So, I would have considered I would have checked the box as a Christian my entire life.
Yeah, man.
You went to the Church of Christ with Granny on Sunday mornings.
Oh, you were Church of Christ?
Yeah, Sunday morning, Sunday night. Mondays was ladies' Bible study. I still went with her to that. And I went and sang hymns with her at the old folks' home. Yeah. But my like church life, that was it. If we went to church, it was to like a Church of Christ. And there was a season of our life where we were kind of like Cheesters, Christmas and Easter. That's when we went to church. And because you want to be a good person.
Yeah, and it's great that it's woven through the fabric of our society culturally and regionally and stuff. Like that comes with a lot of positive things, but also it comes with a lot of like deception. I heard a sermon. Yeah, it was like about a year before I got saved. I was actually driving on I-35 right by where 380 and I-35 cross, and it was by John MacArthur.
Yeah,
and who actually just passed away recently, but he's like one of my favorite pastors. But it was a sermon called "Saved or Self-Deceived," and he was just talking about the idea that, like, you know, you claim this one thing. It's basically, are you about it or do you just talk about it? You know, and you claim this one thing, but then your life has pretty much zero examples of saving faith, and it was quite profound. Because I was always one of those people that I'd talk about it. I'd love to like get into the debate about it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be right.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually really care about, I was just wanting to be right. And I was just raised that way. So this is right, you know, but then like I was just dead on the inside. I didn't even actually care about the person. I'd leave the conversation and even wonder, like, do I even really believe what I just told them?
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't really care.
I see. I was so far away from God when I got saved that I didn't even have those conversations. Nobody had those conversations with me either. I mean, it was like,
what did that look like? You said so far from God.
Well, I mean, I was never like a full-blown heathen. You know what I mean? I wasn't out like cheating on my wife and doing drugs. Like I was not doing that. I was drinking a lot back in the day.
You were already married.
Yeah, I was married. I've been with my wife since she was 15. I was 17.
Was she saved?
We met rodeoing in high school, boy.
Oh, she rodeoed too?
Mm-hmm.
What did she?
She did everything you could do. Yeah. And then she rodeoed at Weatherford for a year or two.
Okay.
In college.
Okay.
Goat tying. She mostly like went to goat tie.
Yeah.
But
was she saved when y'all got married?
Yeah, Katie was always a lot better person than me.
Okay.
Still is. She's the saint. You know, people they crown me with all this nobility, and I'm like, it's her. You know. But
so how long were y'all married before that?
Well, my son was born. My son was probably a year or two old when Cooper was born. There's something just happens when you become a parent. You know, like I mean, maybe not for everyone, but you know, you're like, man, we got to have like a church life. I want my kids to grow up around good folks. I don't need them growing up around all these rock and rollers all the time, acting a fool. And so we started going to church, and that was all my wife. Like I didn't know how to lead us in that sort of like finding a place for us to go. The first church we went to a church called Grace Church for several years. The day we went in, sat down, the message just split me right between the eyes, and I was like, you know, giving my life to this. We were also a part of like
the first time. Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty divine, dude.
What was like the essence of the sermon? Do you remember?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
I just remember the way it made me feel. You know what I mean?
Did it make you feel guilty?
Sure. Convicted.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. When we were also a part of a company, we were part of a business. We talked about it earlier, Advocare. We sold health and wellness products because my wife, I was not making a great living playing music. If you can imagine playing bars and clubs 6 nights a week for $150 a gig plus tips, you know, I did that constantly for several years, a long time. And so she had found this other business to like make money on the side, and it ended up being very lucrative. But I met several people in that business that were like, they were just, the dudes were real. They were like real men, and they had like real character and integrity, honor, valor, all these things that are very attractive to a man, right? Not like in a gross way. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like something about the essence of these dudes is like, I want what they have. And then you just follow the fruit to the root. The root was Jesus. And that was it. It was pretty simple.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it changed my life. Being around them changed my life.
Yeah,
and they helped steer me in how to like lead my family. Yeah.
What do you think were some of the major changes that you saw in yourself? And I know they're gradual and they continually happen throughout the course of your life.
Oh yeah, my life's been through seasons.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Because you were like, so you were boozing and just kind of ruckus.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I quit drinking for 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't have a drop of alcohol. I didn't, my mouth around women was one way. My mouth around men was one way. Right. And that was a thing that changed over the course of that time. It was like, I watched these guys be the same guy around a group of guys as they were in front of a group of ladies. And I was like, I recognize that about them, Not to say I ain't loose lipped these days here and there, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, there are some things that typically people like to, and they get frustrated about the Christian thing because a lot of times people think it's about who you are in front of people and like this kind of thing that you put on.
Yeah, I do.
And oftentimes I find some of the things that change the most about me are just things that nobody would ever know. It's those silent thoughts. It's the affections that you have for certain things, the feelings you have about certain people, anger, jealousy, resentment. Like sometimes those things are just private and you never know they're happening. Sure, you might be nice. You might not curse. You might not drink. You might seem like a charitable person. You like all these different things that are kind of just signaling, hey, look at me, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then on the inside, there's just a dirty world going on.
You might do all those things and actually have a relationship with God that is more profound than the person that seems like it.
Very ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've met some guys that we met a cab driver one time. Actually, he was a runner at a music festival. He was from South Africa. And he talked like a biker, bro. I mean, but he talked like, South African accent. He talked like this, and he
that's a pretty good South
cuss
African.
like a sailor, boy. But he was like, Josh, I want to tell you I'm a prayer warrior.
Yeah.
And I want to pray for you. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then we got out of the car and he's like, he prays for us. And it was like heaven coming down.
Whoa.
Dude. Yeah. But he was.
Yeah. Because I've
realized like those things don't make you.
Agreed. And but then there's also the side of Christianity where it's like I can act and do whatever I want, and
there is definitely
which is also not true, right. Because like if you're feeling no conviction for things
there's
that you
like
know
the
are
ultra
wrong.
grace thing that's not healthy.
Yeah,
and then there's the legalistic grace that's unhealthy, and it's a constant balance of trying to find what's healthy and what's not. But I think at the end of the day, like lordship is what will help you understand. Jesus is the Lord of your life. He's not just your Savior. He's the Lord and Savior, right? When Jesus is the Lord of your life, he's not necessarily in the trunk. Because Jesus is sort of like, he's like the spare tire in the trunk a lot of times, seems like, right? Everything's fine as long as everything's cruising, but when I have a blowout, that's when I need Jesus.
No doubt.
Right? But if Jesus is, or he's in the passenger side, he's like, I'll ask Jesus where I need to go, when I need to go there, or how I need to get there, or what I should be doing, or what's your will for my life, those kind of things. If you get to a point where Jesus is now in the driver's seat and you're in the passenger seat, your life looks a lot different. It's a lot different.
Yeah, or just to dig deeper into your analogy, or he's not in the car, he's not the spare tire.
He's on the road like waving.
Well, yeah, but then you get the blowout or whatever.
And you're like, where are you?
And then he pulls over to help you. And the only way you're going to continue forward is if you like allow this person to
that's true.
Change your tire, then maybe, I don't know. But I don't know, do we let a stranger then just drive our car for us too,
Well, that's true. I mean, it is relational. Like, it's funny though, we're talking about it like there's so many different characteristics of what could be deemed a Christian. And we get really, like, I've heard you talk about it on podcasts, and I've heard, and even now you were talking about, we're talking about, there's so many different movements of Christianity in the United States and even around the world. But I've spent enough time in nations that were not founded on biblical principles. And you get to those places, any Christian is a friend. And it's like, it's a great feeling, actually. Like, any Christian brother or sister you meet.
Some of the
is a friend.
disagreements start to seem pretty petty.
Pretty petty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
does.
there's so much evil around.
Yeah. The principles that, you know, I don't have an issue with like denominations. I actually think it's a beautiful thing that we can find, you know, almost like a color wheel. Not everybody likes red. You know what I mean? Not everybody likes blue. Some people operate a certain way and you find the place. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think God is in all those things. I think denominationalism is when we say, if you're not red and you're blue, you're going to hell.
Okay.
I'm like, that's when it gets like, okay, this is like unhealthy. Because if a red and a blue go to a place where there is no red or blue, red and blue become friends.
Sure.
Real quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been to those places and it's gnarly, dude.
Where are some of those places?
Well, India is one of those places. 2% of the population is Christian. You know, the nation's founded on Hinduism and a caste system. You know, and I have tons of Indian brothers and sisters, dude.
But culturally, they do not value everybody the same.
Correct. Yet they're all more or less the same color. Isn't that funny? Like it goes beyond race. It's like it's just a human nature thing where we value humans. It's wild, dude. And there, you know, the caste system and is based on your last name. Generational, who you are, who your parents were.
Yeah, it's pretty rank classism. I have no problem saying like I don't. There's certain cultures that I don't like. I have no problem saying that. Like American culture, specific or Western culture, would be something that I would promote more. It has nothing to do with race or anything like that.
Yeah,
and I mean, there would be Indian people, there would be people from all over the world that would actually agree with that too. Like I actually really enjoy talking to some Africans too. Yeah. Like from Africa.
Yeah.
Most of them that I've engaged with that live in the States now are just like so happy to be here and have such a perspective and thankfulness.
It genuinely is like, I mean, there are elements of American culture that you can look at and you go, man, that's a mess.
Oh,
we need
definitely.
to fix that.
Definitely.
But
yeah,
if
on the whole though,
anybody who's like, yeah, I mean,
but it's cultural. It's not a race. I don't care what color your skin is.
I mean, like, could take the person who's like burning the flag in the middle of the street, who, you know, lives with their mom, and you take that person and I drop them off in the middle of India somewhere, they would beg to come back.
Yeah.
Begging, come back. Because everything you eat makes you puke. And everywhere you go, it's a shock to every sense. I mean, India is a wild place. It's definitely the wildest place I've ever been.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even religiously though.
But I love it.
And
I will say this: I have friends now in India. I have Muslim friends.
Yeah.
I have Hindu friends. We can find a common ground. You know, when I go over there, we play cricket. We'll play cricket. We'll have a cricket match with a whole group of Indian dudes, and they're not all from the same faith background. And it's like, it's a pretty beautiful thing. And a lot of them go to our church over there now, you know, like we've helped plant a church over there and they love it. Mm-hmm. They experience the presence of God in these places. And they know like something about this. Anyway.
Yeah. But so within Hinduism though, that there's reincarnation.
Yeah, well, there's also like 300 million gods.
Exactly. Well, but if the foundation culturally is the idea that like this life really doesn't matter that much, like in the sense of like, well, we'll all just be reincarnated forever. Like there's like kind of woven the way I've experienced is like woven into it. There seems to be a little bit less value on each individual life, even from like a spiritual sense.
Yeah.
Like somebody dies, it's not that big of a deal. They'll get reincarnated.
Well, so I've had conversations. Like I was sitting in Delhi at the customs office or whatever, getting paperwork. We're adopted a little girl, and so we're getting like her, you know, some paperwork or whatever. Had to pick it up, and I'm sitting there with a Buddhist, and this young man, and he was there with his aunt, who was a Buddhist monk, like dressed from head to toe in like, you know, looked like a Tibetan monk. and we just start having a conversation about faith. And I said, so the Dalai Lama, that's God to you? Yes. Yeah, he's basically God reincarnated. And I said, so explain to me reincarnation. And he's like, well, he was like, my father was a good man. He was a good man. And I said, so who do you think your father is now? He's like, maybe he is the little girl that you are adopting.
Yeah.
And I was like, what about your mom? She was terrible. She's probably like a bird or something.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And the problem is like, if you are here's where it becomes eternal. Okay. If you're reincarnated as a bird, what opportunity do you have for your next life to be any better than that? It can only go like down from there.
Yeah. I think there's no hell in that religion.
Yeah.
Like, what is a hell?
Yeah.
Like,
well, what if the next time you're incarnated, you're not as good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have no opportunity to even right the wrongs.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
You're a bird. You're not even consciously aware. Yeah. And so
you're a earthworm.
Yeah. And, people would probably hear me talking about this, and it doesn't mean that I don't like those people or care about them. It's calling a spade on what cultural norms and stuff that I prefer, that I think seem to lead to the most value per human. Like, how much do we value each human life? And I have no problem talking about some of that stuff. So a lot of people shy away from it, because then like race gets so quickly like inserted into it. But yeah, it's just different here.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, but it's different there too.
Yeah.
You go to India, and I had to keep using that as reference, but that's probably the place I have the most experience. I've been to Africa, but India, when everyone is the same color and you've still found a way to degrade people,
yeah,
boy, that's a whole nother level of like
yeah, or some of that stuff
dehumanizing.
Going on in China. Like, I think, what is it with the, I'm going to butcher this probably, but I think it's like with the Mongolians or something up north or whatever. There's like mass genocide going on in China with that stuff.
Oh, I haven't even heard about that, but that doesn't surprise me, because
sure.
like
they look like a little different, and they're just a little further north, and I'm pretty sure they're just
there's an element in India where the north is more superior than the south. Like the southern Indians are like hillbillies, and the northerns are, and it's like the southern Indians are less educated. They eat differently. They eat with their hands. A lot of southern Indians eat with which all Indians kind of eat with their hands. But like, the northern Indians will find a way to, degrade the southern Indians. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I have a friend.
Our place is in South India, so like I'm with the hillbillies.
Little hillbilly down there.
I'm where I belong.
I have a friend from Mumbai that like his family was from like a higher caste.
Yep.
He works in finance. Sharp dude.
Yep.
I met him for the first time probably like 4 years ago or whatever. He worked for like one of my best friends, and then we ended up becoming friends. And he came and stayed at our house for a little bit. And when he came, he brought they bring gifts, so he brought a bunch of snacks and treats and stuff, but he brought a little Buddha.
Yeah.
Right? Like the little statue Buddha thing. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. From my perspective, I would probably avoid having some of that stuff in my house.
Yeah, I would.
So, all right. So yeah. Okay. So but I'm like, I put it in there, like I put it on the mantle, just like being respectful. And we hang out for like a couple days. Oh, this is actually really, really funny too. This has nothing to do with the actual story, but it's like I double checked with him. I was like, well, so you're like, do you eat meat or whatever? And he's like, he's vegetarian, right? So he's never ate meat.
They call it veg or non-veg.
Yeah. So he's like religiously, he's a vegetarian. Me and my buddy were like, well, where should we go to dinner? And we're in Decatur, so it's like the only place that's like kind of like a nicer restaurant, I guess, would be Sweetie Pie's Ribeyes.
Yeah.
So we take him to Sweetie Pie's, but we're like, okay, they probably have just salad or whatever, right? So he's sitting there ordering, and he goes, "Do you have any, veggie options?" And they're like, "Yeah, we have salad."
Pickles?
Yeah, we have salad, and he goes, "Okay," and they go, "What kind of dressing you want on it?" And he was like, "I guess just like a ranch or whatever, and or just like oil and vinegar." And they're like, "Yeah, we have an oil and vinegar," or they said, "Yeah, we have a bacon vinaigrette."
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. And even when they said it, it still didn't even like register in my mind. And he was like, "Oh no. Do you just have like oil and vinegar?" And so they had to like go find some for him. And I was like, we were so embarrassed. He was so cool too. He like laughed about it,
Yeah.
He wasn't being disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. But I can't imagine going into his world and like eating some of the stuff that would be normal for them. I would
lot of meat. Don't get it twisted. They do.
Well, sure.
They don't eat beef though. There's not a lot of
but
beef.
I was
don't
like,
eat pork.
I had so much
respect
respect for him to like be so out of his comfort zone and be so okay with it. We can't even find a restaurant that like,
what's funny is that helped me a lot actually in just being like bold about my faith. Because when you go to India and people go to temple, they go to like a Hindu temple. When they leave there, it's very obvious that they did. And like they'll have like 3 marks on their forehead, and these jokers be wearing a full blown business suit and go to work like that, unashamed of their faith. It's just a part of who they are. This is me. I went to temple.
But do they get some sort of positive attention? Because
I think that actually the more bold you are about your faith in Hindu circles, I mean, the guys who are looked at as like the most radical, as far as like they're called Jainism is like a whole Hindu sect, right? And they don't even wear clothes, bro. They don't wear clothes. They beg, and they believe in reincarnation. Obviously, they wear these guards over their mouth so they don't happen to eat like a bug. I mean, it's wild, dude. But when they like. There was one that spoke at Parliament or something like that in India, and it was like a big deal because he was most regarded. Like Gandhi. I mean, Gandhi's everywhere.
Yeah.
But he was so bold about his like.
Well, bold, but also because like in Christianity, if you're out showing the whole world how religious you are, that's actually like the antithesis of what Jesus spoke about.
Yeah, it can. Well, don't get me wrong. Like not. Like being the guy with the megaphone outside, like shouting people down and telling them they're going to hell.
Or I mean, I guess just like a heart condition of why are you doing it?
Yeah.
I guess that's the essence of it. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it just to show people how good you are? Or are you doing it because you are actually truly being like bold?
Yeah.
Like proclaiming truth out of love. Like those are 2 different things in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because like even the idea of, I've always been a little weird about like praying in public even.
Yeah.
And because it just depends on like, why are you doing it? Because like even Jesus talking about, don't pray out in the streets like the hypocrites do.
Yeah.
Go in your room, shut the door, do it in private,
Well, I mean, I have no problem praying for people in public. Don't bother me at all.
No, I know, but I'm not saying it's,
but I know my heart. My
exactly.
heart is not so that people see me do it.
Exactly.
That's irrelevant to me.
Exactly.
And that's the boldness I'm talking about.
Yes.
The irrelevance of what someone thinks about my faith.
Yeah.
I don't mean necessarily like you get what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I was so fascinated by this guy that I met because when he brought that Buddha, and then later that night we ended up
talking about it.
Yeah. And what I really do appreciate about some other cultures though is like especially like Middle Eastern specifically is how open they are to talk about religion and politics. That actually is something I don't love about where we're at. And I think it's part of the reason why we've kind of gone the direction that we have in some ways is because it got so like woven into society where it's like, oh no, don't talk about religion or politics. I'm like, oh, you mean the stuff that like matters?
Our everyday life.
Okay, let's talk about football all the time. That'll really help us, right? And then we wonder why like people don't know what gender they are or something. It's like, we weren't even allowed to talk about anything meaningful for forever. So, anyways, this dude was like so open to talk about, God and religion and stuff. So we ended up talking about, what I believe, and I was explaining. It was very foreign to him. He had never actually had anybody explain to him like who Jesus was, at least Jesus of the Bible, right? And like spell it out for him. And then the idea of grace, like undeserved favor. There's nothing you can do to earn salvation, which was so counterintuitive to like everything he knew.
Yeah.
And so so I start asking him about what he believes. He says he's Hindu, right? And I go, okay, why?
It might not have been Buddha. It was probably like a Krishna.
It was
statue.
a Buddha.
Buddha.
It was a Buddha.
So then you asked him like, why do we have Buddha?
It was so confusing to me.
Well, because all gods are technically in
Hinduism. So get this.
Yeah. So it's exclusivity of Jesus that will like push like if a Hindu is very like a radical in their faith, right? They have most people in India have no qualms with Jesus because Jesus is just another God. Right. It's when you say, no, he's exclusively the God.
It's polytheist.
He is correct. That's when it's like all the others have to go away. He becomes the one you worship. Then it becomes like,
they have no origin.
We're going to murder you.
There's no origin story. So they don't believe in like one central creator God that created all things.
Right.
It's always existed. Honestly, a lot of those questions are difficult. Like they don't really try not to go down that path. It's just like, we don't know like where it all came from.
Well, it's very confusing.
Very confusing.
Millions of gods. Many, there's a God for everything.
Yeah. So this gets way more confusing.
And they flip flop it.
Because I go, okay, why do you brought me a Buddha though? That like, I don't understand. And he just said, oh, that's just something we do. It had no religious connotation.
It's like a good fortune.
100%.
Like
yeah. It was like, oh, that's just what we do. We just bring a gift for you. Like for him, it had no spiritual or religious connotation. It just meant like, just thanks for having me. Yeah. Like it just peace and blessings. And I was like, interesting. So immediately I had a less of an issue with leaving the Buddha in my house. Right?
Yeah.
Because there was like a different intent behind it.
Yep.
And then, so I'm like, okay, so then we went down the rabbit hole of Christianity and like monotheism, one creator God. And he goes, oh yeah, I believe in that. I'm like, wait, what? And he was like, oh yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me that there's like millions of gods. There has to be like one that created everything.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so, but you're Hindu. Finally, when I unpacked it, it's basically, he's just culturally Hindu, right?
Yes.
He's just raised culturally that way.
That's a lot.
Doesn't actually believe in it. Spiritually. And then he was like open to the idea of like one. So it humbled me in a way too, because I've tried to spend time like even before I got saved, I studied a lot of different religions because I was trying to come up with every reason why I could live the way that I wanted to live and have no ramifications for it. And so I thought I had some things figured out. And until you like really sat down and talked to somebody and figured out the nuance like of their life, I was like, holy, I would have never guessed that that's what you believe.
Yeah.
You would just on surface value. So if I'm the guy with my megaphone out on the street corner and somebody says, well, I'm Hindu, and you don't take the time to unpack that, you could just immediately assume a lot of stuff that is like, I have totally wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sat at a hospital, like when we had to do like a well check on one of my daughters, and I sat next to a Muslim couple that had just adopted. And we all had, we had all the same reasons for doing what we were doing. Yeah. That's just, they believe Jesus is a prophet and I believe he's God. And it was, I mean, and I'm like, how do I, you're in your heart, you're thinking like, okay, but if Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, like I got to get these people to.
Ironically, there's some Muslims who have more respect for Jesus than people that probably even claim to be Christian here.
Yeah.
Like they hold him in almost higher regard in some ways.
Yep.
So yeah. And then you got people here that, claim the whole thing. And then they're,
story's not over. That's the way I always look at it. It's like, I would have been that guy. I was the same guy.
Me too.
I was that guy. So
that's why I feel so strongly about it.
I can't. I just assume like, story's not over. Some what is it? Some plant, some water. Like all I can do is bear fruit. And
well, you have, especially recently with the whole stuff down in Central Texas, with the floodings and stuff. That's the fruit for sure. And there's so much stuff that you've gone and done too that nobody knows about. Yeah. And time that you've spent down there.
I mean, we hadn't got to spend too much time because I've been on the road so much.
But there's been a lot of stuff that's...
Well, my wife has been working like tirelessly nonstop around the clock since the fundraiser to make sure that, you just do what you say you're going to do. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. It's really that simple. Just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. How much money did y'all actually end up raising?
It's over $500,000.
It ended up being over $500,000.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all from that live stream.
Yes. Well, that and the publicity that came from it the following day. That night was like $337,000, which you guys had a lot to do with that too. I mean,
no, that's them. They did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it came from people pitching in and chipping in on, my wife, the whole idea of a auction. We were just going to do a live stream thing from my phone. Like I'd done live stream things during COVID, and I'd just do a little concert thing from my phone. And that's what we were going to do. And I was like, we got to get the band in on this. We were going to play a show. We were supposed to play July 5th at Green Hall. And it got canceled, obviously, because of the flood. So I did feel like there's a reason, like we're connected to this. Like we were supposed to be there. And then the show was still going to happen on July 5th because nobody had realized like how bad it was yet. And then we were headed down there. We got to about Waco and they called us and were like, no, show's canceled. They're going to close the whole city down, by 4:00. Everyone's got to be out of here. And so, okay, well, we had decided we were going to turn the Green Hall show into like a fundraiser. And that obviously was not going to happen. So we were like, well, my wife, we were at dinner that night. And she's like, we should just do a live stream fundraiser and see if we can raise some money. And I'm like, okay. And then, it evolved into let's get the band involved. Okay, well, if we're going to do the band, then we're going to have to do like a full-blown production. So that went through a couple of different ideas. And then it was just like, I called the pastor of my church and was like, can we just use the main campus? Because you guys live stream every week from there. Yeah, of course. Of course. And so we went the day of. So that we decided to do this on Saturday night. We spent Sunday planning it, and then we did it on Monday. And between Sunday and Monday, that's when this young gal reached out to Katie. She's like, hey, if y'all going to do a fundraiser, I'd love to donate some baked goods that you could like auction off, raffle off. And Katie was like, okay, yeah, absolutely. And then Katie was like, she's willing to give us baked goods. I wonder what anybody else would be willing to do. So she put a post out on social media, and it just went gangbusters, dude. I mean, you saw some of the stuff that we were auctioning off: dove hunt in Argentina, and 2 trips to Belize, and like 0-turn motors, and lawnmowers, and like all kinds of crazy stuff, dude. And people just like, yes, take it. Oh, you need 2 of them? No problem. We'll do 2 of them. I mean, it was amazing. We had so much stuff that we couldn't do it all in the live auction. We had to do it, on a silent auction on a separate site. So all that had to be set up between Sunday and Monday. And so Katie, Chandra, who works with our nonprofit, and Kimberly Bryan, who works with me, and several folks just all pitched in and were helping like get it all together. Band guys' wives were helping, yeah, it went off without a hitch. It was wild how easy it turned out to be. But yeah, that night was $337,000 as well. And my goal was like $150,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was taking a lot of faith actually to believe for $150,000. Because I thought, who's going to watch this? Like nobody even knows we're doing this. We didn't get time to promote it at all or nothing.
Yeah. Everybody started talking about
dude,
it.
It was like 100,000 people watched it that night.
Yep.
And a lot of folks I talked to watched it for 4 straight hours, which, I mean, good for them. Way to hang in there.
Yeah.
It went by really quick, though. I mean, the band and I, we had a great time. And
yeah, you orchestrated it amazing.
Yeah, that was none of that was planned.
Yeah.
None of it. It was all just, and thank you.
Yeah.
None of it was planned. It was just right off the cuff. I mean, and that's how like the Lord was in it, because it was like, we could not have done something that well. And just the sound we were talking about, like the live stream audio quality was so legit. And that was like, we got there at 4:00 and we started at 7. So there was no time to like get, like really dial it in. Yeah. Like it was already kind of dialed, and the guys that worked at the church, they were like, no, I think this will work. Normally drums are in, the ISO thing. So we just mic'd everything up out there on stage, which is never the case. It was kind of like, I don't know how it was going to work.
And then it
Turned
sounds
out
better
great.
than it ever has.
Yeah, it sounded better than it ever has.
Almost like a little miracle.
Yeah, it was a miracle, dude. It was miraculous.
Maybe not quite a miracle with you playing. It makes sense that it sounded so good.
Well, I mean,
and you have such good players around you too.
I have the same guys for 10 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but they're incredible.
Yeah, they're really good.
So on the back end of some of this flooding stuff,
mm-hmm.
from what I've read, there's been some shady stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, what's been your experience going down there? How much time have you spent down there?
I've only been down there for like a week.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I said. We've been on the road a ton. But we try to get as much done in that week. I mean, now we're sending stuff down there constantly. And we've spent almost that entire $500,000.
Yeah. What have you done with a lot of it?
A lot of it was replacing. A lot of people lived full time in their like RVs. And, you know, if you lived on the river in your RV, a lot of them were elderly people who, you know, paying $300 a month for lot rent, living in an RV, and they lost everything, literally everything they own. And so we replace their home, the living space, fill it up with stuff. You know, my wife made a lot of trips to Walmart and Sam's Club, like pimping these things out and making sure they're full. And then we haul them down there to them and they get a new house. You know, we bought trucks, tools, help, you know, get people back on their feet, like with their business. If you're like a handyman and you don't, my tools wash away. Okay, well, I took a couple of different guys to Home Depot down there in Kerrville and just was like, what do you need? And they're like, oh man, I mean, just I'll settle for whatever you got. And I'm like, that's not what I said. And it's like, what do you want? You know, you want all Milwaukee tools? You know, let's pimp it out, dude. Let's go. And the guy wanted DeWalt tools though. The Milwaukee
what
stuff.
is he doing? You're like, never mind.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, we just that kind of stuff. So that's very satisfying for us. I mean, you know, on the selfish side of it, it's like I enjoy the part of like getting to see it put into action.
Yeah, but I think people love to hear where it went, you know.
And we want to make sure. And
yeah.
you know, I've done some posts, and my wife has done a lot of posts about like who's getting the stuff and where it's going, just because we want to make sure that people know. Yes, you sent the money in for that, you know, for that event, but like it's being used.
Has that not been the case for a lot of the charities and stuff going on down there?
Well, I mean, there has been I've talked to several people down there, like firsthand. A gentleman named Ray who lived full-time in an RV park. And the day that I met him, he had been to like 3 different stations down there trying to get support. And the best that he was offered for support was a small, low-interest business loan. And that was with donated money.
Okay. So from who? Who's giving a loan?
I don't know. I don't know what nonprofits it is that are like, 'cause I don't have all the facts yet.
Okay.
Right? I don't have all the facts. So before I do an expose, I'd probably want all the facts. But I just know that there are some huge organizations that are not like your, you know, people think Red Cross, FEMA, and all that. No, it's ones that people are giving lots of money to. And I've yet to meet a person that has been helped.
So you've gone door to, you've talked to people.
Yeah, I mean,
you've heard the stories firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, my gentleman I met down there, his name's Luke. I mean, he lost his parents, and they're not getting help. He's like, I went out and filled out applications all morning, and I got more hugs than anything else. And we're talking millions of dollars down there. There's millions of dollars that's been donated to.
So there's organizations just straight up stealing the money.
Yeah. Now I say that. Stealing, I don't know how it works.
Well, when your administrative fees and people take 90% of the income.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I'm not sure who is doing what, but I will say that like there's a situation going on where, I mean, if you go down there and you start asking people who's helped you. I mean, I went down there 2 weeks after the disaster, And I was the first person some of these people had met that had come from any organization.
That's what you said 1 week after?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks after. Things are being cleared. Like, it looked different 2 weeks after, than it did, obviously. Like, the first week was a disaster. I mean, it still looked like a disaster, obviously, when I went down there. I mean, it was like, it's wild.
Wouldn't be the first time there's been a natural disaster where then all the parasites come in and take advantage of the situation. It's happened all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah.
What I love so much about Texas is typically we can be a bit abrasive and very direct, but it's like, hey, you do the right thing. And you can call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
So there's a huge part of me that wants to call just massive bullshit on these organizations for doing this, because that's just not the way we roll.
No, and at least that's not what I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear all the quotes about Texans helping Texans. You sure don't want to think it's Texans ripping off other Texans. And
seems to be the case.
I mean, in my experience, and that's all I can speak on, is in my experience, that, I mean, the folks that we have personally helped, we were the only people that offered any sort of assistance.
I cannot imagine.
And I've spent almost $500,000 in the last, how long ago was that? Month? And they're not getting help from anyone else. So I don't know where the millions of dollars is going. I don't know. But it better start going to some people pretty soon, or it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly.
Is there anybody else that you've talked to that has the same suspicions?
I mean, besides the people in, Kerrville, Ingram, Hunt, Comfort.
No, I mean, but anybody else that's like in some sort of powerful position to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to a House of Representatives admin assistant, told her, hey, are you aware that like there's donated money that's being offered in loan form down here? Like, we're working on that right now. I mean, like, people know it's happening. It's happening. I mean, Ray lost everything he owns. Everything was inside his fifth wheel RV that he lived in, and the best that he was offered was a small business loan, low interest loan. And he's looking at me. He's like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't have anything. I can't incur debt when I have nothing. I can't work because I don't have tools.
Well, yeah. And the money was donated.
It's which to me is just like, that's the most criminal thing.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's people. I mean, these are people in their most vulnerable state.
I definitely don't like the IRS, but I feel like this would be the one thing that it's like, let's freaking sick the IRS on these people. Figure out what the hell's going on.
There's got to be some sort of audit, some sort of something that can happen to help. Like,
what have been the major
what's going on?
What have been the major charities down there?
Well, I mean, obviously FEMA, Red Cross.
Right. Well, FEMA's not charity.
Yeah, but I mean, that's an interesting deal too. Like, it's just the red tape around getting help doesn't make any sense. Insurance companies. So we've replaced a lot of these campers, right, that people were living in. And they're like, yeah, so the insurance company told me if it floods from below, there's nothing they can do. Only if it floods from above.
Oh,
so like if you get leakage from the top and it ruins your camper, okay, we'll cover that. We can't cover it from the bottom. We can't cover the camper if the wheels come off the ground.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Well, yeah, the wheels came off the ground because they found it 4 miles down the river.
Boy, is that not a bunch of attorney bullshit, huh?
It's wild, dude. It's whack.
Wow.
It was wild.
Just criminal.
Yeah, and I was hotter than a pistol. I mean, I know another lady who was issued. She's just a citizen who jumped in to help, and she rallied people with, backhoes and tractors and all this stuff. This is in Georgetown, and she's offered a cease and desist from the county for helping people.
The county told her that she
Yes.
has to stop helping people?
Yes.
Why?
Because they can't get grant money to supplement people if the people have already been supplemented. Yeah. Yep. That's for real, dude. That's for real. I said, you get him on the phone with me. Let me talk to him. I'll call whatever state senator I got to talk to make sure that this is not a problem. I'll get a lawyer. We'll get attorneys.
Who would be the people within the county that
I don't know
calls that type of shot?
I don't know.
When what department in the county is that?
I have no idea. I'm just telling you the stories that I'm hearing like on a regular basis. It's pretty whack.
Oh, that's the definition.
And I said, you can't tell her. My wife calls me. She's like, listen to this. And we've been working with this lady, like providing campers for people that she's been helping because she knows residents firsthand. She's been there since the day it started. And she's like, yeah, I got a cease and desist. Now this was not in Kerrville. This was further up. But she's like, yeah, they told me to cease and desist. And I said, what? You can't tell somebody you can't help people.
It's crazy.
You can't do that. You can't do that. So tell them get a lawyer. Don't whatever they want to do. I'm like, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. My wife, because then my wife, she's like nervous about it. I'm like, we're just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, it's illegal to help people.
Yeah, just tell them come at me,
Big Daddy government. We'll do the helping. You guys.
Yeah, that's for real.
And then, but how long into the process did, like after the flooding, did that lady get the cease and desist?
Well, this is maybe a month after.
Yeah, so the government hadn't even.
No. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now, I'm sure that there are several nonprofits. I mean, I'm not trying to look like the patron saint of the hill country here because that's not the case at all. We've been able to make a small dent in like the devastation because it is wild. It's when you go down there and look at it, it looks like scorched earth, man. It's just it's really, really gut wrenching and like heartbreaking. And I'm sure that there are some amazing nonprofits that have been helping.
Any other
people.
nonprofit?
So I don't want to make it sound like.
Yeah, well, but it shouldn't. What you're saying shouldn't offend some other nonprofit that's doing what they say that they're doing.
They should be, yeah.
They should also get
They should be like
pissed too.
high-fiving me.
Yeah.
And being like, yeah, somebody's talking about it. Because there are some, I know for a fact, dude, there's some whack ones down there.
Are they ones that popped up just because of the flood, or are these ones that have been around?
I'd never heard of them before.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean anything.
There's like psychopaths and sociopaths amongst us. You'd have to be.
Sometimes
right?
I think that just gets twisted, dude. I mean, I will say, if someone was right now to come up to me and give me $10 million, say, here's $10 million, I want you to go help those folks. Okay, $500,000 is a lot of money. 10 million is a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So $500,000 is enough for like my wife and myself and one other person. We can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, $10 million. Okay, we're gonna have to build some infrastructure to make sure that we're helping people
efficiently,
efficiently and doing it well. And we obviously have the means because, so I do understand that there's probably a heavy vetting that has to happen to make sure that people are getting help, right? And sometimes the people who are posing as victims can also be
taking
scoundrels
advantage.
too,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
In our experience, the victims were not the scoundrels. They just weren't getting help, So.
Well, what could we ever do to like right the ship, or
I don't know.
Like who do you even approach or bring this to, or
I don't know. I mean, I might see Abbott on next week, so maybe I'll talk to him.
Freaking bark at him a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'd just love to have a conversation. I'd love to, talk to some of these nonprofits that and find out, like, is there what's the validity of these things that I'm hearing? The thing is like, I'm not hearing them from random people. I'm hearing them from people who have genuinely asked for help. That's the bottom line. These people have genuinely asked for help and they're not getting it. And now, I mean, I talked to the lady who checked us out at the Home Depot when we bought a bunch of tools for this guy. She's like, I heard they're going to raise our taxes.
Oh my.
Yeah. And I'm like, I wouldn't doubt it.
Wow.
I don't know.
How, oh my God.
I mean, I don't know. I it's hard to talk about it being that I don't have like the facts, you know what I mean? Like, cause I really want to, I got no problems going after something if I know wrong is being done. My understanding as it is right now is wrong is being done. So I'd need to hear somebody else's testimony. You know what I'm saying?
Well, fortunately, you got some right done.
Well, I mean, we just did our part. Do the right thing is the right thing to do. We had the means to do it, and so it was simple. Now the rest of the money, the other $150,000+ was raised after the fact because of that live stream getting so much attention. Then news media picked it up and things like that. So
yeah, that is incredible.
Yep. Yeah, I mean and in my mind, see, this is what we're talking about. And I mean this genuinely. The media attention did not even cross my mind. Did not cross my mind whatsoever.
You mean the attention that would come
yeah.
for you personally or for the...
Personally.
Oh,
because
okay.
So I'd hate for it to seem like that was the case. Like I did it for the attention.
Sure.
Because that was not the case at all. Like I literally...
It was
so far from...
Well, you also did it so quickly.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I didn't have time to even go like, man, I wonder what could happen from this.
Yeah.
We didn't even have time to think about
what has the media attention personally been like for you?
I mean, I get a text from somebody from Rolling Stone the day after the fundraiser. Hey, we wanted to do a piece on this. Okay. And it was a mention in, an article article on Texas artists that were doing stuff. Because, think about how amazing that is, dude. What if all communities had a music community that just like rallied? If you just put it together, like how much money has been raised by, regardless of where it's going, okay? Because the artist, I don't believe, had any ill intent. So make sure that's known. Like none of the artists, I believe, had any ill intent as far as like raising the money and where it was going.
Probably could have done a better job of vetting though.
Well, you can only base it on what people are telling you until you're down there.
Yeah.
Talking to the people yourself.
Yeah.
You can only, what can you do?
Yeah.
The artist community in the state of Texas has raised so much money, bro. Think about like if that was the case anywhere else in the country. What artist community has the means to do that? It's wild. Between George Strait, Robert Earl Keen, Miranda and Parker, Randy Rogers. all these cats, like that just does not exist anywhere else that I know of.
Not in such a small geographic location that they're all like kind of in a similar genre and stuff like that.
Yeah, and all wildly popular.
Yeah, totally.
It's pretty wild, dude.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like it's woven in the fabric of like Texans, I believe. And then so on the flip side of that, I think if any of those people found out that money wasn't being used appropriately,
there'd be a few that'd be hotter than a pistol, I'm sure. You know a few. No doubt. Maybe we need to call them.
No kidding. They would be, just insanely pissed because those are not weak individuals,
right?
At all.
Some tough cats.
I know
who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so disappointing, man. But I'm so thankful.
Something will happen.
Yeah.
Something will happen. The wrongs will be righted, I'm sure.
Yeah, if we stay after it.
Yeah, dude.
It is amazing though how quickly after disasters it's just kind of just
bam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been stuff all over the country that's just sort of evaporated.
Yeah, one thing Katie and I were talking about is like we want to make sure that we stick and stay with these people because what's going to happen when the media leaves and everybody stops talking about this is like, hey, you can imagine how alone in the world you'd feel if you lost everything. You're not getting any help, and now nobody's even talking about it. That's a low down feeling.
Yeah, the not to change the subject too much, but the one that really weighs on me is the freaking the pedophile child trafficking stuff, like all the Epstein stuff and all that type of stuff. Like the fact that stuff could potentially be happening, and then
it ain't no potentially, bro. It's $100 billion industry.
Well, right, and it apparently is way more. It happens a lot more under our noses than we would have ever realized. Like it just seems like it's kind of everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Like nobody really talks about it.
No,
not that much. I mean, I would think that would just be on like everyone's number one thing on their radar.
Yeah, I mean, how to be sensitive. My faith in government is pretty dwindling when it comes to the fact that, like, I could get audited on my business that does not generate, the kind of money that, a sex trafficker is generating, obviously. Okay. And they want to act like nobody knows where this is. Think about this. To my knowledge, the last that I heard, trafficking human beings and mostly sex trafficking, okay, has become $100 billion industry. That's more money than the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, hockey. You take all the sports that we participate in the United States at the highest level, their revenue that they generate does not come close to equaling what sex is equaling in this country, okay? And nobody knows who's doing what.
But by God, Josh Weathers deducts something on his taxes.
Exactly. I'm over here like pushing a pencil, making sure I'm being square on my taxes.
You're going to get caught. They're going to ding you for that $500.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, give me a freaking... It's a joke.
It's a joke. So I'm like, the only explanation to me is people in high places are getting their palms greased somewhere.
Complicit.
And evil things are happening right underneath our nose all the time. And we just... I don't know, dude. Like,
I just think people like to live in a state of like, no, it's just not that bad. It's not that heavy. It's like at a subconscious level. Because anytime you bring up anything like this, people, it's just conspiracy. And it's like, well, how many more of them do we have to have until there starts to be like a common thread where like clearly the powers that be are complicit with some pretty evil stuff. If you just pay attention to banking, it's like every other month, a massive international bank gets dinged for like money laundering and some sort of like almost like wire fraud, basically. That's what it is. And then they just pay a fine and go away. Like HSBC, like the Hong Kong bank or whatever, Bank of China deal, they got dinged for like a massive money laundering thing. Like they were helping the Mexican drug cartels, and it just kind of gets like slides under. So you don't think that somehow ties into sex trafficking, human trafficking?
Of course it does.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Of course it does. That amount of money is like, you can't
move that stuff around. Yeah.
That doesn't go unnoticed.
No.
Yeah, exactly. You can't move that much money. You can't there's not a room big enough to hold that kind of cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like somebody's moving things around and people are turning a blind eye.
I think,
I mean, dude, the guy, did you see the guy? No joke. Blaine, my drummer, was next door neighbors with this cat. Was next door neighbors when he first moved to Fort Worth. Blaine lived next door to this guy, and the dude, Blaine was like, man, he only saw him one time in the few years he lived there. He only saw him one time, and the guy came over to his house and gave him a gift card to Walmart, like as a welcome to the neighborhood gift. And he was like, the dude was strange, man, and he's like, I just got these bad vibes, and he had like these, like his front porch was caged in, so you had to like go through a locked gate to get to his front door. Okay. This cat goes into a furniture store the other day. Blaine lived there, bro, 15 years ago. Okay. And Blaine was like, cars would come in all hours of the night. Now, we didn't talk about trafficking like this 15 years ago.
No, it just wasn't.
I didn't even hear about it until that movie.
Taken or something.
Taken.
Right?
Comes out.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So,
and even then, that was just like such a.
That seems so far,
dark
so far away.
Corner of the earth. Yeah.
Right. So he's like, dude, these people were coming in and out all the time, all hours of the night. Well, this guy shows up at a furniture, and he was also on the predator list, right? So he was already he'd already been busted for something, pedophilia, or some sort of sexual deviancy, right? And this cat walks into a furniture store and asks the guy about these triple stack bunk beds and says, "Do you think I could put 3 kids per mattress?" And then he wanted to order like 15 of them. Something crazy. Google it. You'll see what I'm talking about. And the people look this guy up and see that he's like pings on the predator list. So they immediately call the cops. Cops go and arrest this cat.
So the furniture people were like, "That's weird." Obviously.
Yeah, they were they were like distraught.
Good,
by it, right?
Good, yeah.
Okay, well, that guy had been in that house living in our city in Fort Worth, Texas for 20 years.
Just an absolute suck.
He had cages on like his outdoor, like his like back porch. He had like these little balconies off the 2 top, and he had cages around them. How did nobody know for 20 years?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it gets really scary where that starts to just become too common, and then it's just way too prevalent. Well, I lived down in South Florida for a little while years ago, and like on the west coast of South Florida. And right when I was moving from there, there's a place called Bonita Springs. It's like north of Naples, Florida.
Yeah.
A really wealthy area, very wealthy.
Yeah.
And there was this kind of strip mall thing that I sort of lived next to, but very nice stores and stuff in there. And right when I moved, it came out in the newspaper that on the upper levels of this whole place, it was basically like a prostitution thing. Mm-hmm. So like all these old guys that lived down there, that's where they were all going.
They knew. Yeah.
Well, they were all going there because they did a sting and they caught like 50 of these guys or something. But like, what do you think? What type of women do you think are in there? Like in that area?
Yeah.
Like you don't think that that's sex trafficking?
Yeah.
Like those ladies ain't just out and about.
Yeah.
Like it was so dark. And these are just like retirees down there that were golfing and living in their gated communities. And then they pop over there because like the lower level was all like the nail salons and the hair places, very fancy. And the upper, so it's like, yeah, I'll go get your nails done with you, honey. And then they're going, I just can't. I got goosebumps. Like it makes my skin crawl.
Well, and I mean, if you talk to like trafficking survivors, how they got into the world of prostitution, but
it's like it's the other side of the coin. Yeah, sure, the traffickers are so evil for doing that to somebody, but who do you think's the one paying for the services?
Yeah, it's evil. Seeing something evil and doing nothing about it,
bro,
is pretty.
Yeah, or you're participating in it.
Are
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I just have never been around it. Like I've never even heard somebody talk about like. I guess
bro,
I just
want to go to this,
bro. Yeah, yeah. It's just like that's not the people I've been around, so maybe I've kind of.
I don't think that there's like a community for that. That there's like they're all meeting at a Hyatt and being like, "All right, where we going tonight?" Like it's all dingy, dark on the dark web. Like there is a community for it. Don't get me wrong, because like child pornography is so prevalent. It's like it's wild. The volume when they catch someone. The volume of stuff they find on a device is like, and bro, the stories I've heard, because, we worked in that world too. The stories is like babies, bro. Like babies.
It's mine.
Babies. I don't mean babies as in like in the affection sense. No, that's my baby. Yep. No, I mean babies.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Which is kind of actually.
And you know where those babies come from a lot of times? They're sold by their own family.
Yeah.
Or a stepdad is the one who's running the business of prostituting this child. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's another like I don't know how you fix it, but I think if they brought back like corporal punishment and public execution, we wouldn't have to deal with so much of that.
Yeah, or like truly kill them, like almost. Yeah, just get it, or just get them. Yeah.
No, but because then if you kill them almost, then you got to pay for them to stay alive.
True.
Like if you're raping children, dude.
Yeah.
Your conscience is so seared.
Yeah.
And like the evidence of any sort of like spirit, like the spirit of God inside of you is so muted whether you call yourself a Christian or not, or whatever, whatever, most wouldn't. But
yeah, and I mean the redemption for it. I mean, okay, but I mean, I'm not in like a government sense. Like, I don't think it's our responsibility to offer those people some level of redemption. Like, they need to be gone and executed.
I mean, they're just a threat to humanity at that point.
Yes,
like a threat to, if you're a threat to children. You're
I mean, I will, even on the rape thing, like I think rape, like I think you need the death penalty for it.
Yeah.
I think you need the death penalty for it.
Yeah.
I can't
agree with that.
I'm out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually funny that the beginning.
It's actually funny.
No, yeah. The beginning of.
It's actually not.
It's not.
It's
actually not. But the beginning of our conversation was talking about how I said I love American culture and it's so great. Yeah, and so that there's some seriously depraved things that exist in our society and in our culture that we need to do away with. But it happens all over the world too.
Oh, dude, no, that's what I was about to say.
So like even he's turned out to be one of my good friends now. I had him on the podcast too, and he's a songwriter and a musician. He's out of Nashville, but he's an ex-sniper in the Canadian military. He actually has the world record sniper kill.
Nice.
So he spent years over in Afghanistan and stuff, and the stories that he had about sex trafficking, like out on the battlefield over there, was just, and he was trying to explain it to me, where it was just like the evil that he's seen firsthand. It's just inconceivable, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and they might see maybe the aggression that he has towards certain people, and maybe if they heard stories about some of the things that he did, they would perceive him to be kind of a monster, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not a monster, but they wouldn't be able to understand how, Yeah. And he's like, well, but you haven't seen what I've seen.
Right. Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff we need to work on and take care of. But yeah, and I don't know the best way to go about doing it. And anytime that I've ever been remotely close to any stuff like that, I guess I just don't hang out in dark enough places, because make no mistake, I would die for like a child that I don't know.
100%.
I've just never even been in those situations and been around anything remotely close to that.
No, me neither.
So it's what do you do?
Only on the side of like, I mean, I've worked with people who kick doors down.
Yeah.
And they've seen it. I've never seen it firsthand like that. Obviously, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know how the guys, like I've heard interviews with people, like Jim Caviezel, when he made that movie Sound of Freedom, they didn't make him. They gave him the option to watch, some of the stuff that they find on these devices, and to see, like, do you want to see? Like, this is what we do. And I mean, he was like, it's the most disturbing. So now Caviezel's of the idea that, like, kill him. Just kill him. I mean, because, dude, if you saw, I mean, I can't imagine it. I mean, just imagining it makes me so angry that it's like, and I don't even know how people could, like, take a stance against that. I mean, I feel like everybody's kind of in the same boat. Like,
take a stance against like capital punishment.
Yeah, it's wild to me.
Crazy.
It's wild. Or we've got people that are calling it, like, what are the minor attracted adults and things like that.
Yeah, well, that's yeah.
That's like, do what?
Well, you go so far down these rabbit holes of like accepting everyone and everything's okay. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah,
you gotta draw it somewhere.
Yeah,
and I think that's where
that seems like where we'd all be on the same page.
You'd think. But
I will say I think that those people who are advocating for that life,
it's such a small minority.
It's so small.
Yeah.
That like,
but it's
just hush.
It's sensational though too. So you might see it in headlines a lot because it obviously gets a lot of attention.
Correct.
The reason it gets a lot of attention is because mostly everybody disagrees with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's tough too. Some of this stuff gets blown out of proportion, but I think that's even what I probably would have said 10 years ago. If I saw some article about sex trafficking, I'd be like, oh, well, but come on, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it's not. It's like,
and then you start figuring out, man, this stuff is way more pervasive.
My wife's been followed through Albertsons, because she had the girls with her.
Yeah.
And she had my son in the seat here, like in the little seat you pushing kids around, and the girls were on the basket, like holding on the basket, and there's some creeper dude just following her around the Albertson. She called me. She's like, this guy's following me.
Dude.
I was like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then by the time I got there, he was gone.
These men that are like,
they're not men, bro.
No, I know.
They're just monsters.
Yeah. Like, where do they come from? And like, who they just had
it's
nobody.
more like, who do they come from?
Who do they come from?
Yeah.
And how
what,
did they not
what
have
was
any,
the family like when they were growing up?
They didn't have any guys around them. Just, if you even offered up any type of idea like that, they didn't just get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, you just get your brains beat
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I'm so thankful that I know you, and I'm so happy that this, a lot of this success.
You want to talk about music at all?
Is coming this way.
Besides Bob Seger?
Yeah.
Can we pee real quick? Can we do that?
Yeah, totally.
You've been playing a lot more, I've noticed.
Yeah. And I'm, well, because my new music is way more like blues driven rock and roll kind of thing. So it's going to become a way more prevalent part of what I'm doing, which I'm excited about. But like last 2 years, I've just been in the studio, just nerding out. So I've been playing a lot. So I just got more comfortable.
I started listening to this morning that I haven't listened to in forever, the Black Keys. And I was like a Black Keys nerd, dude, in the early days. Like the first record, Big Come Up and Thick Freakness and all these records where they were just the duo with no heavy production. But the new record they've just put out sounds fantastic.
Unreal. Yeah, Dan Auerbach does all sorts of records for all sorts of people.
When am I going to get to meet that guy?
That would be a cool
It'd be a cool
producer.
Country record is to have
that
Auerbach.
Would be a cool one.
Yeah, because he's really good at like melody lines. Like their songs always have those. Yeah,
just riffy, hooky stuff.
Yeah, and all you got to do is do that with a steel guitar or a fiddle, and now it's country.
Yeah, or like incorporate some of his, because he's got that flavor for that indie sound where it's like there's like cool like saturation and distortion he uses.
Yeah, I think actually that's a great idea. He could make a great like George Strait's first record.
Well, I think in honor of me giving you that idea, I get to be in the room.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
you're there, bro.
I just get to hang out.
If
you do a record with Dan Auerbach, I'm gonna be there.
You may want to be there for the Cobb record too, if that happens.
Yeah, but that's way too big of an ask. Way too big of an ask. It's happening. It's gonna happen.
I don't know, man. We'll see. He was very nice, though.
That's got to be the coolest part of all the like the new success. Can I call it new success? I don't know. I guess I don't have to label it, but the new attention and stuff is like being able to get to work with people that that's just the coolest thing ever.
It is. It's been the most fun. I mean, some of these songwriters, the guys I get to write with now, they were at the show. Are we rolling?
Yeah.
No, we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're always rolling.
Okay. Always rolling. Some of the guys came out. We played Nashville last week, and Clint Daniels came to the show. Clint Daniels he's a hammer, man. He's such an incredible songwriter. He wrote Broken Heartsville. Had a bunch of big cuts, big hits. But yeah, man, these cats, they show up now and they're like friends, and it's awesome, dude. That's been a lot of fun, is building relationships with guys like that.
Yeah, no.
Steve Warner, I can text Steve Warner and he'll text you back, and it's like the big one they're working on right now. They're working on a write with Vince Gill, which would be like,
holy cow.
Yeah. But I mean, I know folks.
Who's they? Is this management or your publishing company?
Publishing company.
Okay.
Yeah.
That had to have been a huge help.
Yeah, that's a crazy story too, dude. Because about 12 years ago, right after we played the main stage the first time at LJT, we had he gave us Friday night, 7:30, great time slot. We got to play in front of several thousand people, and it sort of created this lore about the live show because it went so wild. The beer cans flying everywhere, and we closed the show with Shout, and everybody's going wild. And
where'd you say that was?
Stephenville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Larry Joe. Yeah, main stage. And so we walk off stage, and this gentleman meets me coming off stage. And that's kind of part of the God story too, because I felt like in that moment, right after that was like, I need to sit this down for a season, which is not the time you would want to do that. But I felt like in my spirit, like in my knower, I think I'm supposed to be doing something else, which was a battle inside of me. It took me a month or so to reason with it, because I Will Always Love You had just done the viral thing too. All that's happening at the same time. I walk off stage. This gentleman meets me and he's like, Josh, you're a star, son. And I know what to do with stars. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, nah, I'm going to give you my card. You Google me, look me up. And we'll talk later. I want to talk to you on Monday. I'm going to be in my office in Nashville. I look at his card and it's a guy named Tim Dubois. And this guy walks up to me and he's like, you know who that is? I'm like, no. That's Tim Dubois, man. People win Grammys is what he said. They thank God, their mama, and that guy.
Whoa.
And I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Well, this would have been
2013.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. And so I'm like, uh-oh. As I'm feeling like this stirring to like set things down for a season, And Tim, I talked to him several times. He came down to shows. He met my family. He sent folks to shows from his office. Hey, man, when are you going to come talk to Tim? Like, because he was, Tim was responsible for, I guess I should say that. He was a songwriter, started in Nashville as a songwriter and wrote hits for Jerry Reed and Alabama and, huge, huge songs. And then he put Restless Heart together and made that all a thing, got them a deal. So he wrote Bluest Eyes in Texas.
Jeez.
He wrote several of those songs and has producer credit on them too. Like if you listen to, why does it have to be black or white? I mean, I love Restless Heart. He's got producer credit on all that stuff too. So Tim knew what he was doing. And then in the 90s, he worked for Clive Davis at Arista, started Arista Nashville, signed Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, Rodney Foster, Pam Tillis, tons of people. He also wrote Nobody Answers When I Call Your Name, that Vince Gill tune. Yeah. So Tim was a stud. He was exactly what he says he was. He was like, he knew what to do. But that whole time that he was sort of like courting me, he kept telling me, got to get you up in Nashville, right with my son. Got to get you up there, right with my son. Son's killing it right now. Okay. Like, you need to get up here and write with him. And he's like, and Tim told me, he said, I'll make you a deal. I won't make you cut anything you don't want to cut. As long as you don't cut anything I don't want you to cut. It was kind of
okay. It's
kind of like,
just agree.
We're going to agree that best song wins kind of thing. Right. And eventually I finally just called Tim and I said, no, I'm sorry, man. I can't do this. I can't feel like I've got it. God wants me to do something else in my life right now. And I hate to tell you no, but I have to.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He wouldn't ever hear that.
No, he introduced me to his wife like 2 years later. He goes, honey, this is the only man that ever told me no. Now that may not be true, but he did say that. Yeah.
It's probably not true.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's probably true.
Yeah. But he was very kind to me when I told him that. He was like, I respect that, Josh. And you ever need anything from me, you call me. And he was really, really kind. And then you fast forward, 12 years later, I get connected through Blaine, my drummer, with Barrett Baber.
Yeah.
Barrett writes for a company called Seagale. And I'm like, this is after things start popping off on social media. And my immediate thought was, I need songs. I need songs like right now, and whether I've written them or not, I need some original material that I can put out. And so he puts me in touch with Barrett Baber. Barrett sends me some songs like, well, we should write something too. So we're going to do like a Zoom write. Then I got an email from a guy named JD Groover, and I see at the bottom of his email address, Seagale Music. I'm like, well, I think that's who Barrett works or writes for, or whatever, how you say it. So I call JD. We get on the phone. We're talking. And he tells me, do you know who Chris Dubois is? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And so I tell him the story about Tim Dubois, Chris's dad. And I finish the story and I'm like, needless to say, man, it's just wild that I'm sitting here talking to you and you're asking me about Chris Dubois. This is 12 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other phone, I say, yeah, that is crazy. Who is this? And I'm like, who is this? And he was like, this is Chris Dubois. And so JD, I guess at some point had walked into Chris's office and handed him the phone. They're like, listen to this. And so Chris was like, well, Josh, I mean, JD's been talking you up over here, showing us all your TikTok videos. Why don't you can you come up here at some point? Can you get up here and we'd love to meet you. I was like, yeah. And so that was in February. and my kids had the end of February, and my kids' spring break was coming up, a couple weeks later in March. So I asked my wife, I'm like, why don't we just take the RV and we'll just go up to Nashville and spend spring break in Nashville, and I'll take all these meetings, because I'd gotten several other calls from Nashville folks too. And I'll see if I can write something while we're up there. And she was like, okay, let's go. So we went up, parked at the KOA out by Opryland, and then I just Ubered, or she took me. Oh, we got a rental car. She'd take me into town every day and drop me off, and I just walk Music Row and go to different meetings and talk with people. And yeah, man. I mean,
but it was just from those TikTok videos, you just immediately got DMs from like major labels and management companies. And
yep. Yeah, I mean, I met.
Which it's funny. You probably do remember this, but I think before that happened, we probably talked on the phone like a year before that or something. And I remember I was shoeing horses when I talked to you on the phone. We talked for like an hour or something. And we were just kind of like mulling stuff over. And you were like, man, I just like, what do you think about some of this stuff? And I go, I don't know if you remember this, but I go, Josh, I was like, dude, there's nothing fancy you got to do. You just need to put a phone up in front of you and just play into it.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? Was that kind of like goofy? And I was like, Josh.
Yeah.
And then it was like a year later.
Yeah.
One of my buddies texted me and they were just like, dude, you see Josh Weathers blowing up? And I was like, I hadn't like necessarily seen it yet.
Yeah.
And then I went and looked it up and it was just crazy. It was going nuts. And I go, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Not that I'm taking credit for all your success, but like maybe like I'll take 5%.
Well, what's funny is I'd started that on Instagram, and because I was going to do a live stream thing for New Year's. And so I was going to do a live stream thing for New Year's, and I was like, I got to figure out how to like operate this and get like a decent sound quality. And then I saw this chick on Instagram, I think her handle was like Liz Rose Sings. Okay. And she just sings cover songs at her piano, but it's all looks good and it sounds good. Well, she did a video one day of how she does it. And I was like, I'm watching the video. I was like, I have all that stuff. And so that was it. I mean, then I set the stuff up, figured out how I could do like a quality live stream with it. And then I just posted a few of the videos that I'd done, and they got like maybe 10,000 views, which for me at the time, I had like 12,000 followers.
In general, it's a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had like 12,500 followers on Instagram. Didn't have a TikTok. I wasn't using TikTok at all. And a couple of those got like some decent views. And I was like, and then I did a Merle Haggard song on like December 23rd or something like that. I did Silver Wings, like just a verse and chorus. Cause I'm like, nobody wants to stick around and watch it for any longer than that. You can't really do it any longer than that anyway. So verse and chorus. And then that one popped off. It like went crazy. I'd say crazy. It got like 50,000 views. And I was like, I think I'm going to do this every day. I'm just going to do this every day. And what's the music I know best? 80s, 90s country.
Which is so funny that I'm curious if a lot of the music that you love to play was not that.
Yeah, it was more like heartland rock soul type.
Did that surprise you that that's what you ended up kind of coming back to?
No, because I really wanted to make like country records.
Okay.
Yeah, for a while now. And my wife for like the last 10 years has been like, when are you going to make like some country stuff?
What was keeping you? What?
I don't know.
Because what you were doing before, it seemed like it was incredibly authentic to yourself.
Yeah, it totally was. Yeah. But I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I had excuses as to why it was.
Was there like an element of kind of like hit boy musician that like you wanted to play stuff that was maybe technically more difficult or something?
No, not at all. Because I've never been the guy who plays for the people in the wings. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
I've always been like, we got to make music for soccer moms.
Sure.
Soccer moms buy t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like making music for musicians. This has never been that. I've never been really interested in that.
Okay.
Really, I mean, truly, that's just, but yeah, my wife was like, we live on a farm. You rodeoed your whole life. Like, why are you making this like rock soul stuff? Because that was the music that moved me,
Right. Which a part of that too is what really captivated me by you. I love when things don't perfectly line up.
Right. But, yeah. I mean, the first time when I played LJT, I had a horn section.
Yeah.
Because the way I perceived myself was I'll just be like the Delbert McClinton of today, right? Delbert McClinton was from Ford. Delbert McClinton was like funk, soul, country. It was all these elements all combined. And so that's sort of how I perceived myself. And it worked well. You know, Larry Joe, he loves that stuff.
Oh,
So he was always very inviting and welcoming to me. And but yeah, my wife was like, if you just write some songs like these Cody Johnson songs that are happening, like that. I mean, she would say that stuff to me all the time. Why is Cody Johnson making country records? You're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the deal here? And I would just be like, nah, no, this is what I do. And then for whatever reason, I just felt like after that Silver Wings video popped off, I was like, 80s and 90s country stuff. So I mean, that's my favorite. If I'm just listening to music, I'm either gonna listen to like, Muscle Shoals stuff, or I'm Motown, or I'm gonna listen to 80s and 90s. I'm gonna listen to Steve Wariner, Restless Heart, George Strait. I mean, I've said it for years. George Strait's first record is my favorite record of all time. Straight country, top to bottom, favorite record of all time. And because it's funky, like it's country, but it's real funky, like Down and Out, and those songs are funky. And so yeah, I just
but what a huge part of country music that doesn't really get a ton of love. People love it, but they don't even realize, like, I've talked about Merle Haggard, like some of the drummers that he
funky.
used. They were doing like a lot of Motown inspired. Like,
that record, Back to the Barrooms and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Funky, dude.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But some popular country, what we would perceive
Jerry
as,
Reed, bro, that's some of the, I'll show you some Jerry Reed songs that will like drop you flat, dude. You're like, this is not country.
funky as hell. And then ironically, some of the big country records that get popular, or what people would perceive as like probably the most country stuff, is actually closer to like a Nickelback record.
Yeah.
Like dead serious. Like,
no, that is true. Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, I just find that to be funny, but then they might hear something that is like more funky and be like, well, that ain't country. It's like, well, I don't know. It's probably more country than.
They just don't realize where it came from.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
like something that gets you up moving and grooving.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that to me, and then the stuff that I really loved, like through the 90s, was like Brooks and Dunn. Those songs, like that's country with a kick. Like it had this rock and roll element to it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that's the stuff that I'm like, what I want to make.
Some of the indie country that got super popular and blew up, like the Sturgill Simpsons, Tyler Childers, that type of stuff is pretty funky.
Very funky. Yeah. So, but my wife was.
So then it just simplified. Everything got simple, and you're like, I'm just going to do this thing that I like and just make a video every day.
Yeah. Yep. And the funny thing was trying to transition that into like what was happening at the shows at the time, because I didn't have the original material to support this character that I was building on TikTok, even though, and that was the TikTok thing. Instagram was going gangbusters. It's going really well. I'm up to like 50,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like, this is killing. My wife says, let me start you a TikTok. Starts a TikTok. In 90 days, I have 100,000 followers on TikTok. And so then I'm getting recognized as the 90s country guy.
Yeah.
So I was having to like figure out.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all. I'm like, I've sang I Will Always Love You for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Still do it every single night. So like being recognized for something, as long as it's something positive, is totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 90s country thing, the timing of it could not have been better, honestly. That is like a divine thing to that, and then the fact that like I write songs now with Chris Dubois and part of Seagull Music.
Well, yeah, being prepared for the moment too.
Yeah, there was 20 years. Actually, I've been doing this since 19. I'm 41 now.
Yeah, because even these management companies and record labels and stuff are probably surprised if they contact you just because they know you from TikTok. They're probably surprised that you actually have the goods to back it up, because that's not always the case.
Yeah, they are surprised. I mean, we were talking about that. Like the first folks that called me from a label were asking me how I made the videos, and I told them I just plug the microphone into a mixer, and out of the mixer comes a little cable that goes right into my phone. I just record the video and sing it till I like it. And they were like, no way. No way. And I was like, no, man, I just do it every day. And I'm like, and I'll forget sometimes. I'll be like, oh, I got to go because people were like, "Oh, you just must sit down and make like 20 of them and then roll them out." And I'm like, "No, dude, I have 6 kids. I don't have time to make 50 videos in a day. I don't have time to do that." So it's like I would just be out cutting the grass and be like, "Oh gosh, I gotta get video out before the day's over." And I would literally just run into the house and I'd think about it on the way there, and I'd be like, "Okay, well, I haven't done a Joe Diffie tune yet. Okay, well, I'll sit down and figure out, welcome to Earth, Third and Rock from the Sun." Okay, record and then just do it. So it happened very organically. I didn't put any money into it, sponsored ads, nothing like that. Just all organic. And I do think, like I said, the timing of it, Zach Top had that name started to just start happening, even though he'd been doing the similar thing to what I was doing for a couple of years. Like I'd started following Zach Top years ago when he was doing like covers. I'd see it on Facebook every once in a while. And I don't think I paid much attention to it until I saw him pop back up and I saw him do that song, "There's the sun, there's the moon." And I was like, bro, this is real country. This sounds like a Whitley song, Anyway, yeah, it was on purpose that I was singing 80s and 90s country songs, but it was not on purpose that I would sort of be deemed with that title.
Yeah, with timing.
Yeah, it was totally divine. And now I'm grateful that I have the years that I was not necessarily pursuing a career in country, even though I think the last couple of records I made were probably more country than most of the country you hear on the radio. Yeah, I mean,
it just wasn't overtly branded that way.
Yeah. And now it's very intentional. I go into these writers' rooms and I'm like,
make some
what are we thinking?
Stuff.
I'm thinking, because I love writing songs too. Like it's become, I've always loved it, but getting to write with some of the cats I get to write with now, it's a whole different, it's like a masterclass every month. I go up to Nashville and spend a few days and, write with David Lee Murphy, sitting in a room with David Lee Murphy and he's just.
Might be.
Yeah. And he just cool as a cucumber, dude. Like one of the coolest cats ever. And like, they just don't even, it's so easy for them, man. Like, there are days that are harder. Like Bobby Pinson. You know Bobby Pinson?
I have. I met him a couple of times.
Yeah, Pinson's like, man, he's one of my
Sits
favorite
at the Red
folks.
Door almost every night.
Not anymore. He's cooler now. He's chill. Oh, it's Losers. He would go to Losers a lot too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bobby Pinson, Chris Dubois, Chris is interesting. Writing with Chris, he's like the master of titles. He's just got so many titles, which he's got a great exercise that he does. His dad is the one that taught him to do it.
ChatGPT?
Yeah, no. No, you write a title down, write down a title, and then you make a new title with one word from the previous title. And you just do that till you fill the page. And so he's just got pages of titles.
Isn't it funny that like some of the stuff you learned in English class, like when you were a little kid about writing and stuff, there's some of those things that I use now.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have just used something more interesting because I'm so bored with like creative writing or something. It was just so boring to me.
Yeah.
But I remember an exercise where you would just, if you had to topically write about something, you would just, you just come up with single words that could relate to just come up with a bunch of synonyms. You just like write down a bunch of synonyms, or you like write down a bunch of phrases that could directly tie into whatever title that you had. You know? So you could just it's basically just brainstorming, like, vision boarding, your creative ideas and stuff. And I just think it's funny that some of that stuff you were taught ends up being applied later in life, but I was so bored with it early in life because they didn't even know how to apply it.
You know what's funny is in one of those classes, we had to do like a poem or something like that. And I remember, you had to do like a paper explaining a popular poem or song. And I remember I did The Chair, 7th grade. Yeah. And I recognized then, this is before I was pursuing anything in music, there's something unbelievably interesting about this song because there's no chorus.
So it's interesting nowadays too that I don't find story songs to be as easily marketed nowadays. Like we live in a very meme culture.
Yeah.
So even the way a song is written, like Zach Bryan's songs don't typically take like an overarching storyline.
Right.
Like there's no payoff in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good or bad because I've actually explored with like writing songs that are a little bit more gonzo, just flight of ideas.
Yeah.
And they might be standalone.
Yeah.
Casey Musgraves kind of did it a little bit too, where you could pull out a line everywhere and it would just sort of be like a profound thought just for the line, right? But then structured together in a song format. Yeah. And I think that's more easily, you can grab 5 seconds of any part of the song, put it over you getting dressed in the mirror, put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like a memeable moment, but everything's a meme right now, which I think has influenced the type of songs that are written. Because it's hard to get across that whole story within a 5-second video on TikTok.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
those songs.
But then how
win,
do you?
Dude.
What's that?
Those songs still win. Like they still just the story songs. Those are my favorite.
Agreed.
When we were talking about Main Street, I mean that's a story song.
Yeah.
I remember standing on a corner at midnight trying to get my courage up. Like the picture that gets painted. Those are the songs that I fall in love with.
Think about marketing that though right now though. Which part of Main Street do you pick? Even the chair. Like, so you got to get like really clever with it.
Yeah.
And in terms of,
I could probably see it. Like you could literally, Main Street would make a great music video.
Yeah. And I guess my point is, I think there's going to be a moment where it comes back to a little bit more storytelling.
Oh, well, I think it's happening. I mean, look at Dirt Cheap. That song smokes, man. You know, the Kojo song, and that's a great story song. Those, especially if you're going to do 80s and 90s country, if that's all having this rebirth, I mean, those were story songs. Even Chattahoochee, that's a story song. You know, like probably my favorite is Young Love by the Judds.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. That first line, she was sitting cross-legged on the hood of a Ford, filing down her nails with an emery board. I mean, like that, I can see it.
Yeah.
You know, I love that stuff. Love that stuff. I've been writing a lot of those lately.
That's great. I haven't up until. Do you have a whole record together yet, or are you still?
I could probably put out 2 right now.
Okay,
with songs we've actually already tracked, but we're just kind of waiting to. We're rolling out singles because that's the game to play these days.
Yeah,
and then talking to some labels about what that might look like, putting out a full length and. We'll see what happens.
How have those conversations gone? Is it?
I mean, really only had one label. I won't say their name necessarily right now because if it doesn't happen, then it won't look like a knucklehead. But it's been exciting. I mean, it's been very exciting. I mean, just getting to talk to, I'll just say MCA Records, having conversations with people at the label and thinking like, mind you, going back to the earlier conversation where like I'd laid these things down. That's not going to be for me. That's okay. And now later in life, just even having conversations with labels and not just, let's say just MCA. It's like, that's the label George Strait's been on for the last 50 years, dude. That's the label. When I looked at the back of Straight Country in my Gramps' truck, it's the only cassette tape he kept in his pickup was Straight Country. And when I looked at the back of it, MCA was right there in the bottom left-hand corner, and to think that like, if it happens, it happens.
Dude, to be in the conversation.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the magical part of it to me, whether something shakes out there or not, I don't know. But just the fact that it's like, even in consideration is like, I see God in it, and I'm like, what is going on in my life right now?
It makes me so happy you have so much perspective on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. We were talking about earlier, the gratitude factor of it. It's like the fact that these folks are showing up at shows, we're standing in the green room at their show in Nashville the other night, looking around the room, and I'm asking, Kim Wiggins, the lady I work with at Seagull, like, who's this? And she's explaining who these people are. And I'm like, what are they doing here? Yeah. He's like, I don't know, bud.
But it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's been fun, man. It's been a lot of fun. Last year and a half has been wild ride. But,
and you're totally prepared for it, and it's just exciting to watch.
Well, the thing that I know who I am. I know who I'm not. I know who I don't want to be. I know,
which might be more important than knowing who you want to be.
Because that can change.
Knowing who you don't want to be.
Yeah, I know who I don't want to be.
Yeah.
I've seen those horror stories way too many times. I know the music I don't want to make. I know that, and I know the music that I do want to make. And that music might change over the course of time because that's what it's kind of supposed to do. Even if you look at a career like George Strait, who's my favorite of all time. You look at the early George Strait records that transitioned in through the 90s. He was able to like evolve as an artist and like stay relevant for such a long time. I'm tripping out over lately that I just am like, I've always thought they were great, but Aerosmith's like the greatest rock band of all time.
I was just listening to, I watched him play Dream On at the Howard Stern party. He just plays it.
Yeah,
on
Steven
the piano.
Tyler. He's such a stud, dude.
Yeah.
But I watched a documentary on Pump, the record Pump, which had like Love in an Elevator, which is one of the most amazing songs of all time. And you just listen to them. Steven Tyler was like 42 years old when they made Pump. That was in like 1989.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even.
Yeah. So you think
that's
about
crazy.
like
He was 40 in 1989.
That's where music was.
Because he still looks like pretty good. Side note, like he still looks pretty good.
Yeah, he dressed like, he dressed like a wild man, like your grandmother, but like crazy, wearing crazy.
My wife and I were actually talking about him the other day because it was like, you can't, he's good looking, but there's something about him that's like, he definitely has some feminine attributes.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, that made women even more gaga.
Right? Yeah. So
there is something about like a dude that can rock, like to me, the coolest person, like coolest looking human on earth is Lenny Kravitz. I mean, he's like 60 something. Lenny Kravitz is like 60 years old, dude, and he is a carved piece
also
of
being
wood.
Black just like has like a level of cool.
Yeah, you're cooler.
You're just cooler.
Well, but he's just like, man, such a stud. But we were just talking about, I was talking to the band. We were listening to Aerosmith records, and like they were relevant for a long time, dude. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. They were able to like transition to all those things and be like right in the middle of all of it for a long time. I mean, that's the coolest part about all this, man. Is like when they made Pump or Permanent Vacation, which was like the first that had like Ragdoll in it. You know the song? Ragdoll, living in a movie, hot train.
I mean, probably
had a little cutie. I mean, so funky. That's why I like them, I guess, probably because they're so funky. But yeah, I mean, they were like broke when they made those records. They were like at the tail end of things, and then they just wrote great songs and like got right back on top.
Yeah.
And then 2000s, they were like, "Oh, we can write soundtracks," and they did, and they killed it. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I love to see people's careers bob and weave, and it just you can't fake it for long. If you are faking it, it's just.
I mean, you should get better. You should get better. You should evolve. You should be able to like. It should be something that's true to you, but also like it should be able to change with time. I mean,
yeah.
Prince is one of my favorite artists of all time. Prince, he changed a million times. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, unbelievable. They were different. Tom Petty in the 70s, Tom Petty in the 90s were two different things.
There's ZZ Top's one that I've
been
listening to a lot of them.
That's Billy Gibbons, my numero uno.
Yeah, and like if you go listen to, the way the drums change and their approach to some of the songs and where he's singing at in the songs, like register wise, like that changed over time.
Yeah. I mean, they were a tried and true like blues band.
Oh, yeah.
First couple of records.
Yeah, but then some of their stuff kind of got country funky too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you listen to Tejas is like my favorite record of theirs. Yep. There's no hits on it.
Yep.
But it's so funky, dude. And like, it's not all just a Les Paul through a Marshall. It's like there's a Strat in there. There's a Telly in there. You can hear them. That's pretty dope. And they were relevant for 40 years. Still are, obviously. Yeah. But I mean, like they were putting out records, hits,
Yeah. What's your touring schedule like in like the next like month or so?
Oh,
like, where are you guys staying at for the most part?
We'll do 150 dates this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, August, September are wild.
Really? Is it mostly all down here or what?
No. Like this last week was Mississippi, Nashville, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas. Home for 2 days. We do two things that are like private events this week. This week's pretty chill, and then next week is Colorado, New Mexico, And then we go, then the week after is all up through Kansas and back. And then I go to Nashville for a few days, and it's pretty wild. I mean, it's like there's never a dull moment. It's moving and shaking all the time.
Yeah.
I love Nashville, by the way. I love going up there. I love writing those songs and getting to spend time with those people and seeing how that all operates. It's its own thing.
Yeah, but you get to leave and go do your thing.
Bingo. They were like, so you don't want to live up here? I was like, I said, if George Strait didn't have to live here, I don't have to live here. I'm not comparing myself to George, but I'm just saying if what he achieved, is feasible by not living here, that means it's possible.
Yeah, it's nice to go, but
I mean, I love it up there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, killer, dude. Well, I'm proud to know you. Thanks for everything that you do.
Dude, thank you.
Your story is inspiring for me specifically, so I appreciate it.
Well, appreciate you, dude.
I can't wait to hear the new music.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah, well, you've been sending me some.
Yeah,
I've heard some.
Yeah, you don't sound impressed.
Yeah.
You've been sending me stuff. I'll wait for the next.
Yeah, I'm kind of the authority on
what's cool, what's not. Yeah.
No, dude, I love all your stuff. I've always been a massive fan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for doing this, dude.
Of course, bro.
Adios,
thanks
amigos.
for having me.
Yep. You got to do your sign off. What's your sign off, you think?
Didn't prepare that. Adios, amigos. There you go.
Just my rival, Lonely, and me. Whip away.